Welcome to the 2026 Hats Winter Campout video.
Hi, I'm Caroline, this is my dad Sam, and we are going to be your directors this weekend.
Hi, I'm Elsa, and this is my dad Paul, and we are going to be your senior mentors for this weekend.
This year's Winter Campout will be January 2nd through 4th, Friday through Sunday, for dads, daughters, sons, alumni, all grades 4th through 12th. So we're hoping for a very big turnout. It will be at the High Hope Ranch, south of Glen Rose, but this time it's going to be on an entirely different part of the ranch that I've never seen or been to before. So we're pretty excited about that. The Hats mission, of course, is growing relationships, communication, and leadership through adventure with your dad. For those new members, new to Hats, you will see this in every activity we do this weekend. We also have a safety team in case there are any issues. And in addition to our typical Hats campout risks of dehydration, sunburn, uneven ground, there's also a risk of very cold weather. So Paul and Elsa are going to talk more about that at the end of the video. We also have a few non-negotiable rules at every Hats campout. First is the 18-inch rule. Dads and daughters and sons are expected to be side by side at every activity, game, cooking dinner, eating dinner. This is all about building relationships. We also don't allow alcohol, electronics, pets, or firearms. Those are all distractions and we simply don't need them on a Hats campout. Now regarding electronics, you of course can have a smartwatch, you could have a basic point and click camera, but no smartphones. Smartphones are a huge distraction, so please leave those in your car. Lastly, there's no leaving early or packing up early. These are big distractions to everybody else on the campout. If there's an emergency during the campout, please talk to the safety team. They will drive you to the hospital if necessary. If you need to be back to Dallas early for some reason, please come talk to me and we will arrange a time that you can leave that will be a minimal distraction to the campout.
Okay, I'm going to go over our schedule for the weekend. So on Friday, everyone's going to drive down from around 4 to 8 p.m. The sun's going to set at 5:30, so we like to aim to be there before then so we can set up while it's still light outside. It's about a 2-hour drive from Dallas to High Hope. And then at 8:30, after you've set up your campsite, ideally, we're going to circle up for some games and do some roll call and announcements before we head to bed at like 10 o'clock and lights out at 11. On Saturday, we're going to have a wake-up call at 7 a.m. and you'll be able to watch the sunrise at 7:15, and then you'll have you'll have breakfast with your team, and then you'll circle up to have some games and we'll sort into bandana groups. Then at 9:45, we're going to have a little break and get back together at 10 before we start our Bear Grylls survival adventure. So this whole weekend is themed around Bear Grylls, so we're going to have a fun activity where we learn how to do different survival skills in the wilderness like Bear Grylls did. Then at lunch, we're going to go back to our campsite to have a little break and eat, so you don't need to worry to pack that with you. We'll be at our campsite. And then we'll have more Bear Grylls survival activities after lunch. And finally, at 3:30, a big survival challenge course with everybody that will be lots of fun before we wrap up our activity at 4, have a 4:30 break, and then at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a big campfire where everyone can bring their chairs, circle up, and just all bond and cook dinner over this campfire. Then at 8, we're going to do some jokes and ghost stories. And then again at 11, lights out. On Sunday, we're going to have the same 7 a.m. wake-up call and circle up at 8:30 again to have some games and then breakout questions where just you and your dad will be able to reflect over this weekend. And then we'll do police line and final circle up at 11 before we leave no later than 11:30 to be blessed and released.
Hi everybody. I know a lot of you guys have been on winter campouts with hats before and you know the deal about what to wear, but there are a few of you out there who have not been on winter campouts. And so this is a few tips on what to wear and how to camp in the cold weather. So the most important thing on a Hats campout, other than, the relationship thing, is to have fun. And it's easier to have fun if you are comfortable. And this is how to stay comfortable in the cold. So a lot of girls and boys on some of these Hats campouts show up on these winter campouts dressed like this. They have a cotton sweatshirt on, pair of jeans, some sneakers. None of these things are going to keep you warm.
Oh,
So don't dress like Caroline's dressed. Cotton will not keep you warm. It's not an insulating layer. It's not windproof. You will be cold and miserable. And we don't want that. So let me show you how to dress for Hat's winter camp out. Elsa, please join us. So the most important thing in cold weather is to have several layers. And we're going to go over the 3 important layers for being in cold weather. The first layer is your base layer. Your base layer should be synthetic, silk, or merino wool. It is a very lightweight shirt like this, preferably long sleeve. And the reason we do the base layer is it wicks moisture away from the skin. If your skin gets wet and then your base layer gets wet and it's not this material, you will get cold. And cotton does that. It absorbs your sweat and then it just holds it like a sponge and you get cold. But with a synthetic or merino wool base layer, it will wick the moisture off your skin and you will stay dry, which means you'll stay warm. You would need a top and a bottom layer. You want to show them the bottom layer? There we go. Under even that. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. So this is your base layer. Your next layer is the mid layer, which is a more of an insulating layer. And this would be fleece and down. Now, depending on how you deal with cold weather, you may not need both the fleece and down. It may be a warm day and you might just need fleece. But both these are perfect for a mid layer, and they will keep you warm. They also, this mid layer, it also manages moisture that was wicked away from your base layer, so that keeps you dry as well. And depending on outside temps, you may or may not need the down, but at night, there's a good chance you will. It will cool off at night. So, on to the third layer, which is the shell. And the shell is what protects you from the rain and wind, which is a very important layer if we have rain or wind. The insulating layers, the mid layers, if they get wet, then you're going to be in big trouble and you will get cold. They also don't deal with wind very well, especially fleece. Like the wind will howl through fleece. So if it's windy, you're going to be cold if you don't have a layer like this. And honestly, just a rain jacket is perfect for exterior layer. Same goes for pants. A pair of rain pants works great. And those are the 3 layers for your body. Now let's talk about your head. I suggest a warm hat, a knit hat made of either something synthetic or wool. I also suggest a neck gaiter, which is also synthetic, and you can use a scarf. Those work great as well. Let's see. I don't have a balaclava. Did you bring one of those?
I did. Got one right here.
Look at this. If it's really cold, these things are the best.
Absolutely. And the other great thing about this is when you get too hot, you can just pull it down and wear it like a scarf.
Yeah.
Very handy.
Also really great if it's super cold and you get cold at night in your sleeping bag.
Yes.
You can put on your balaclava and it's a lifesaver. Hands. Gloves, very important. If it's very cold, I would use glove liners, like these really thin gloves here. And then you can put on gloves or mittens on top of those. That works really well. We'll also have, I'd also suggest bringing hand warmers. I'm sure we'll have
plenty.
We'll have plenty, yeah.
We'll bring some too, yeah.
You know the ones that you shake them and then put them in your pockets, and they're nice to have in your pocket just to warm up your hands. Finally, feet. One of the hardest things to keep warm on your body. So, thick wool socks or synthetic socks like this are very important. And a pair of hiking boots and or winter boots. Some people like to add a layer and put on sock liners. That works if your boots are big enough to get your foot and the thick sock and the liner in there. That's great. That works really well. A word of advice, I would bring multiple pairs of socks, because if you're running around doing activities during the day, your feet get wet and then they start to sweat. So your socks will be, kind of damp. So at night, when it starts to cool off, you want to switch up socks. Put on some dry socks. You'll be super, super happy you had an extra pair of socks, or maybe a couple extra pair. What else we got here? A little list here. Oh, so during the day, we're going to be in different parts of the ranch. So I would suggest bringing a day pack so you can shed layers, add layers, depending on what the weather is doing. It's just handy to have day pack with all that stuff right with you, because the temp really can change pretty dramatically. You never know what's going on in Texas with the weather. So, and also you probably want to pack snacks. Other thing I was going to talk to you guys about is camping. Oh, thank you for your help, Elsa.
Yeah.
Great mom. Is camping in the cold, and sleeping in the cold can be miserable if you don't have the right equipment. I suggest either getting a warm sleeping bag that's rated, and you can talk to the guys at whatever camping store you use about warm sleeping bags. Or if you have multiple sleeping bags, you can double them up and use them that way. This is not a camp out for a slumber party sleeping bag. You will be very upset if you're trying to sleep in one of those in this kind of weather. Trust me, it is horrible. Does Hats have extra sleeping bags? Do you know?
We might.
You might.
You can feel free to call the office.
Yeah.
If you're short on equipment, reach out to Megan in the office or reach out to me, and we'll see if we can bring extra stuff for you.
In addition to a warm rated sleeping bag, I highly recommend a thick inflated sleeping, like air mattress. And actually underneath that, a sleeping pad. You're really trying to protect yourself from the cold coming up from the ground, and also losing heat the other direction. It's imperative you have at least two pads to sleep on top of. Let's see. If you've never used a warm weather sleeping bag, please come see me at the Campout and I can show you how it works. There's a lot of kind of little tricks to using these type of sleeping bags. A lot of them have the hoods, especially the mummy bags. They have a hood and a drawstring and like a baffle that kind of keeps the warm air in. All that stuff's really important if it's cold. And also don't go to bed cold, because your sleeping bag is not a heater. So there are lots of different tricks for warming up before you get in your sleeping bag. One of them is to boil water and put it in an Nalgene bottle and put that down your sleeping bag with you.
Yes.
It's great. Really, it feels great on a cold night. And you can also bring extra blankets, just to put on top of your sleeping bag. Another important thing for cold weather camping is hydration and eating. You really need to stay hydrated, and you also eating certain things like a hot meal in the morning and a hot meal at night. This is really important, and it's good for your body, also good for your heart. It makes you happier. What else are we gonna go over? The tents.
Yes.
Most of us have kind of 3-season tents, which should be enough. A 4-season tent is pretty extreme,
Yeah.
And expensive. So
Yeah.
whatever.
It's good. It's good to have a tent where the rain fly goes all the way down to the ground.
Yeah.
And it's good if it doesn't come all the way to the ground, you need to be able to close off your windows.
Yeah.
And the other suggestion I would have is if it has a vent in it, you do want that vent to be slightly open.
Yeah.
Because you do not want humidity to build up in the tent, which is a little counterintuitive because it feels like you're letting the hot air out, but that additional humidity will work against you.
Yeah, the condensation will build up inside
Yeah.
your tent, and everything will be soaking wet in the middle of the night. And
Yeah,
you definitely don't want that.
should probably mention heaters in the tent.
So yeah, heater buddies, which a lot of us have, and Hats has several. They're a propane fueled heater that goes in the tent. Elsie's going to bring one over for us.
Oh yes, perfect.
These things are fantastic. When it's difficult to get out of a warm sleeping bag in the morning, and you have a nice father who will flip this on for you to warm up the tent, they're really great. Same for like going to bed, they're nice to. Some people leave them on at night. I don't recommend that, but you know, each to his own.
Yes.
Also, if it's gonna be cold, propane in cold weather doesn't do too well. Do you want to explain the science on that?
Yes, so basically, you know, a propane bottle operates off the head pressure of the gas. When it gets real cold, not enough pressure, you'll get up in the morning and try to attach it to your Coleman stove, and it just simply will not light. So the trick is, when you go to bed at night, take that propane bottle and wrap it in a towel and keep it in your vestibule. Maybe put it in a cooler that doesn't have anything in it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it right beside me in a sleeping bag. It's a bit too much.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't need to be that warm.
No,
Just needs to be kind of in
Yeah.
inside that tent or inside a cooler or something. Just like if you have water that you don't want to freeze, you should put that inside your tent vestibule or in a cooler with nothing else in it, just so the water temperature doesn't get low enough to freeze and break your water bottle. And so you'll have fresh water in the morning.
Yeah.
And one more thing on the heater buddy, if you do use a heater buddy in your tent, please leave plenty of room around it with nothing flammable.
Yeah.
You know, good,
Yeah.
18 inches, 2 feet from the edge of your tent, from sleeping bags and air mattresses. And,
Yeah.
we've had many people melt a tent in the middle of the
Yeah.
night, and that's a rude surprise to have things catch on
Yeah.
fire.
Unfortunately, everything synthetic is highly flammable.
It's flammable, it melts,
Yeah.
and will ruin a tent.
Yeah.
Um,
But super nice to have
It is nice to have.
on cold mornings.
I have always been worried about using the Nalgene in my sleeping bag, but last year I went for it. I actually boiled water, put boiling water in this all the way to the top, because you don't want a pocket of air in there to heat up and leak out. So you want to fill it all the way to the top. I, just for security, also put it in a Ziploc bag, and I put it inside a big old sock. And so this bottle was still warm the next morning.
Oh, that's nice.
It was amazing, and it wasn't so hot that it burned my feet. That was the other thing. The sock insulated it so it wouldn't get too hot in my bag, but it stayed warm all night. That was awesome.
Good idea. I think that's everything I have in my
Yeah.
notes for cold weather.
One other thing I've done for my shoes, I bought these thermal heat reflecting insoles for my boots, and I bought these little toe socks made of neoprene. Prior to finding those on Amazon, I just cut the tips out of some wool socks and put those on my feet. And my kids always made fun of me for it, but it kept my toes warm. And if you like to put hot hands in your shoe, you can put that in here,
Yeah, it's good.
with your other sock, between your sock and your liner, and it'll stay in place,
Right.
which is very nice.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we don't want you guys to get cold.
Yes.
We don't want you to be miserable. We want you to have fun. So if you have any questions, just let us know. We have lots of experience with winter camping, and it can be fun even when it's really cold.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Very good. So final thoughts. I would be putting together a camp packet, and to everyone that is registered, when that comes out in probably 2 weeks, you will get an email with a link to where that packet is. If you register and the packet's already posted, you'll be able to see that in the HATS portal. So please download that. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or Paul with questions about winter camping and schedule, anything at all. We're here to support you and help you to have an amazing camp out. So, any questions about getting there late or leaving early or things to bring or not bring, we're glad to help. We both camped out in the winter
Yeah.
many times, and there are definitely lots of little tricks
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, I mean, if
And-
you go on YouTube,
Yeah,
there's hundreds of videos on
Yeah.
how to camp.
if you can stay reasonably warm and dry, this camp out, you and your daughter or son is going to have an amazing and fun weekend, and you're just going to grow together and have better relationship and communication.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
it's gonna be fun.
See
Yes.
you there.
Please invite your friends, and we will see you in January.
Yeah.
See you in
All right.
January.
All right.
Bye.